Now that we know about how Unity handles colliders and rigid bodies, let's dive into how we can use physics to detect if we're looking at a specific object in the island scene. For that, we need to talk about raycasting. Raycasting is, like the name suggests, shooting a ray out from a given point in the hopes of hitting a collider in our scene. Raycasting has a lot of applications, but one of the biggest use cases is for detecting what someone in VR is looking at. A ray requires two pieces of information: the position it's located at and the direction it's traveling in. In VR, we're fortunate to always know both of those details, which makes it really easy to cast a ray. So let's do that. First thing we need to do is add a collider to all objects we want to detect. In this case, let's make sure there's one on our treasure chest. Once we do that, let's create a C# script and call it detect treasure. Now before we dive into writing code, let's first take a look at the documentation for raycasting. If we scroll down a bit, we can see that there's some sample code that we can use. Even though there aren't many lines to do a simple raycast, there's quite a lot going on here. For starters, instead of using update, the sample uses fixed update. Fixed update is a method in Unity that works very similarly to the update method, but is the proper place to write code that deals with rigid bodies in the Unity physics engine. Since raycasting uses physics, we should be using fixed update. Next, the code defines a forward vector. This is the direction that our object is facing, and in the Unity editor, it's represented by this blue arrow right here. After that, we have this line here that actually does the raycasting. So let's break that down starting from the middle. So first, we have this call to raycast, and we provided the position, our forward vector, and how far we want the ray to travel, which in this case is 10 meters. Then, outside of our raycast, we have an if conditional, which checks to see if our ray actually hit anything or not. If we do hit an object, then we get to print this little message here. And that's the power of just a few lines of code. Let's go ahead and copy this and put that into our detect treasure script. And at this point, let's just add the component to our main camera and then test it out. Once we hit play and look at the treasure chest in the center of our vision, we'll see that we get the message here in the console. And if we look away, then we don't get these messages anymore. So now that we know that we're correctly detecting our treasure chest, let's have the treasure chest open. But first, we need to create an animation for it, which we'll do next.